which bike's right for you. What's up guys? Today we're gonna be just going through the bikes about what bike is right for you. Get a lot of questions like, why should I ride this bike? Why should I ride said bike over on my left hand? And then just kind of give you some insight on why you would want a bigger travel bike or why you would want a shorter travel bike, and does head angle matter and geometry and stuff like that. We're not gonna get too technical because it would be like a 30-minute video of me just rambling on.
Why are you the way that you are?
So I count these as mountain bikes. This is what some people would call a dirt jumper. You're jumping dirt on this bike. It is not a slope style bike. A slope style bike has a shock in the rear. This is a dirt jumper, so you're gonna have 100 mil of travel in the front, usually a thicker stanchion. Like on, if you're gonna go with a Fox, it's gonna have a 36 millimeter stanchion. Big fork with a little bit of travel, just 100 mils. And this is just designed to rip up huge jumps. You can do like some street riding with it. It's always 26-inch wheels, no shock in the rear. This seat is not technically a dirt jumper seat, so you're probably gonna get a thick, short seat that's pointed real straight up. These bikes are super fun. We got something coming for you to ride on them, and it's gonna be really close to the shop. So stay tuned for that. It'll be really, really exciting. Always single speed. If I ever saw a dirt jumper that had gears on it, I would probably vomit.
No! God, please, no!
Yeah, typically gonna be around $1,500 depending on what build. Dirt jumpers that we sell are gonna be the Transition PB&Js. I have a custom build coming for that. Stay tuned, it's gonna be super sick. Next step up from a dirt jumper in my category system that I'm making up right now, hardtails. Hardtails come in all shapes and sizes. Right now I've got the Eddy Arc right in front of me. This is a carbon hardtail. Hardtails come in chrome ollie, they come in aluminum, there's steel, there's carbon, there's all type, titanium, there's all types of different hardtails. What you're gonna find in a hardtail, you can get really slacked hardtails that are technically like enduro bikes without suspension, or you can get ones that are more towards like cross country that'll have like a really long stem, no rise bars, be sitting over there like that, you know, trying to go as fast as you can for some reason. I mean, for a great reason. You'll get like kind of more trail oriented hardtails, which that's pretty much where the Arc hits. It can be described as a cross country or trail. I would count this as trail. It's a great bike to learn on. You get a lot of feel in the rear. You got to pick your lines a lot better because you don't have that suspension. They're also super fast and really good uphill, and they're pretty awesome going downhill. So also great bikes to learn how to jump on, as well as dirt jumpers, but dirt jumpers are a little bit better. The hardtails are most of the time cheaper than full suspensions. There's no shock in the rear, so you save a lot of linkage. They're also, speaking of saving stuff, you save a lot of weight. They're quite a bit lighter, no matter what, than full suspensions. Travel up front can range from anywhere to like 100 or 80 mils up to like, I've seen somebody put a 180 fork on there. I wouldn't suggest doing that unless it came from the factory like that, and then I would just get a Enduro or Freeride bike at that point. We don't have any cross-country bikes, like true cross-country bikes. So a cross-country bike would have a really steep head angle because you want to get that tire close to you so it's nimble. Probably always going to be a 29er, and it's probably going to have anywhere from like 100 to 120 maybe in the front. That's probably pushing it, and then probably just 100 in the rear, maybe even less, like 80. And the bike is going to be just dialed to go as fast as possible. My next category, and I like this term, some people get a little upset, but it's called downcountry. I said it. I'm not afraid. To me, a downcountry bike is basically just like a trail bike that's a little more pedal oriented. It's got a little less travel than like your standard 130. I've got the SP 115 in front of me. So that's gonna be 115 in the rear, 130 in the front. That's pretty much what I would think of it in like the downcountry categories. The head angle is a little bit flatter than like a normal cross-country bike. I believe this is a 65-degree head angle. The bike is gonna be nimble, shorter chain stays, but it's also really capable downhill as much as it is uphill. It can definitely handle what you can throw at it on the downs. It's not going to shy away. It's still like ready to jump, ready to go down some pretty steep tech, but it can also climb up that pretty steep tech. In my opinion, this is kind of what the future of trail bikes will be, really capable up and down. Just want to show off this other downcountry bike. This is the Transition Spur 120, 120, very similar in line with the 130, 115 of the 115, SP 115. This bike is a little more slack. I think it's got a 64-degree head angle, but this bike is going to be a lot longer, really slack. Transition bikes are always slack. They kind of lead that movement. Another downcountry bike, a lot of people would just say it's a trail bike, and I say, yeah, you're probably right. It's just got a little bit less travel. So downcountry. Next up in the category, everybody's favorite, trail. So maybe not everybody's favorite. Trail, that's gonna be your most common bikes that you'll see out riding. Trail bikes are anywhere from like 120 to 150, 160 is kind of pushing towards Enduro. But the one I have in front of me is the Rebel Rascal, so that's gonna be 130, 150. This is a custom build. They don't come with Zebs in front. Trail bikes are just like all around capable bikes. Can take them anywhere and they'll be great. They are always modern and progressive as far as geo gets, depending on every brand, but pretty much all brands are getting there. Basically the Swiss Army knife bikes, you can do anything with them, you can take them anywhere. They come in a 29-inch pretty commonly, and also a 27.5, so I don't really have a custom category that I've made up for like a 27.5 bike that would be a trail bike, because I'm probably pretty good at jumping. One of my favorite categories, Enduro. Enduro, that's gonna be a bike that is really good at going downhill, and also pretty good, defined pretty good, at going uphill. This bike is one of the best Enduro bikes in the world, so it's the SB150, 150 in the rear, 170 in the front. That's gonna be really common for Enduro bikes. Most likely, if it's a true Enduro bike, it's gonna be a 29er, because Enduros are technically, I would say, a race bike. They're gonna be really slack, probably have a pretty long wheelbase. It's gonna have a pretty slack head tube angle to get that tire out in front of you to descend. This is probably not a bike that you would want to grab if you were just like going to ride with the kids on the greenways. Actually, most of these bikes probably aren't, because they're mountain bikes. This bike is pretty much fine-tuned to go racing. Not that all Enduro bikes are, but the SB150 is. It's gonna be a really fast bike. It's really fun to ride. My favorite category, Freeride. Just a quick disclaimer. These are my own categories, whether they're real or not. If you don't like it, make your own list. So next on the category, Freeride. Freeride is gonna be like pretty popular in like Canada on the North Shore. To me, a Freeride bike is gonna be a 27.5 bike with a lot of travel. So like my bike's got 180 in the front, 165 coil in the rear. I would definitely throw that in the Freeride category. So it can have a little bit more, a little bit less, and be in there. And the bikes are basically designed to go downhill, to jump, jib, huck, whatever you want on them. Basically just be like super fun bikes that are just like pretty capable downhill. I will say they're probably not going to be very good on uphills. Some of you might know I push my bike uphill. I will physically get off my bike and walk up hills, because I mean, my bike weighs like 36 pounds. Everybody else rides pretty good uphill, so the only way I can keep up is by running next to them with my bike. It's something I have to live with. It's just what I do. It's worth it because Freeride is the best category. Freeride can pretty much, in my opinion, be whatever you think it is. So if it's a pretty big bike, just throw it on downhills and just get a Freeride bike. These bikes are probably not light. An aluminum bike would be pretty familiar here, but I've got a carbon one, which is great. The weight doesn't really matter. It's just a bike about having fun on. The whole 27.5 idea is just to have fun. There's two more categories, in my opinion. There's e-bikes. We'll get to those. We're gonna do a whole nother video on those. And then there's downhill bikes. We don't have any downhill bikes in the shop. All we have is a frame for a custom build coming. Those are my categories. You probably want a dirt jumper if you're a guy that's wanting to jump dirt and basically get pretty good at jumping. Dirt jumpers are a little bit cheaper, so maybe that could be your second bike, or if you're wanting to learn how to jump, it's a great bike to use. Hardtails, can never go wrong with a hardtail. That's always a great starter bike, or somebody wants just something very simple. That's a good bike to use. Cross-country bikes, can't go wrong with a cross-country bike. In my opinion, you wouldn't want that as your like everyday bike. Probably gonna be more of like a race style bike. Downcountry bike is basically awesome. I would seriously consider one if you don't have like a whole lot of elevation around you, or you're not maybe as into jumping or as into the downhill. You just kind of want a bike that does it all and is a little easier to pedal. Then to everybody's favorite category, trail. Obviously gonna be the bike that you want if you want to just do any trail, anywhere, anything. You'll just have one bike that does it all. It's probably gonna be a trail bike. The next is Enduro. If you're wanting a really fast bike that can crush down hills and is okay at going uphill, it's probably gonna be an Enduro bike. And a Freeride bike, of course. You're probably gonna get a Freeride bike if you're like me and just a little bit stoop. Hit the downhills hard, do some fun stuff. That's kind of what I like. Obviously, you know if you want an e-bike, so I'm not gonna talk about e-bikes like I said yet. And then downhill bikes, if you're pretty much getting shuttled all the time and really not going uphill at all, get a downhill bike. If you like the list, hit the like button. Stay tuned for our next videos coming up. We'll have some really cool stuff coming when the snow melts outside. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.